Yep. Welcome to Chicago Edition. We're coming to you live right before March Madness, right before the tourney. Only thing happened, we having the people that won the playoff tournament. I mean, the play-in tournament was decided last night, which was
Man,
Norfolk State got in. Drake was winning by a lot, then almost gave the game away. Michigan State got upset by UCLA. And there was one more other team. But after that Michigan State one, I just cut it off.
I mean, tough to say upset. I mean, it's 2 11 seeds. Michigan State's 15-12. They haven't really played consistent all year, although this last month got me excited. Not that I'm super excited because I'm not really a Michigan State fan, but when the tournament time comes around, Michigan State is a tough team, especially with Izzo. And that was one of my 11 seeds that I had making some noise if they would have made it, because this past month they beat Ohio State, they beat
Yep.
Michigan, and they beat Illinois, which are all three of the top teams. They're all 1 or 2 seeds. So Michigan State would have snuck in at 11. They would have got BYU in the first round, and I think they would have handled them. And then second round, I think they would have had to play Texas if Texas beats Abilene Christian. And I think they had a chance to beat them. And then they would have had a tough matchup with Alabama. But if Michigan State played as
Yeah,
good as they did
Alabama.
this,
I,
I
I,
think it,
would- I
no,
would
no,
have
I'm
had
saying,
you. I would have had UConn going that far.
well, if Alabama gets past UConn, I'm just going just top seeds. I'm just saying
Right.
what they would have had, toughest road they would have had to have. Um, you know, and I thought they had a chance to make it all the way to Elite Eight, really. I don't know if they would have beat the 1 seed in their round, which would have been, who was it, Michigan?
hmm
Which they could beat them because they had shown that, and Michigan missing
And it's a
livers.
rival.
Yep,
And it's,
yep, it is a rival, and anything happens in big rivalry games for sure. And Michigan's missing livers, that freshman. I think that's
mhm.
going to hurt them too, which hurts me a little bit because the two teams I do root for, as you can see, I'm not wearing my White Sox or Bears or Bulls stuff. I am a huge Tar Heels fan, and I am a Michigan fan. So those are the two teams I root for. I don't like either team's chances. I'm not going to lie. Before Livers got hurt, I liked Michigan a lot, but they're the 1 seed that I trust the least right now, just because of that injury. I do like Juwan Howard a lot. I think they'll win the first round, obviously. They're not going to lose to a 16. I'll say that. But that second round matchup against LSU, I think, is going to win. That is going to be a tough one without Livers. I think
Right.
they're going to push them. If they can make it past LSU, then I'll give them a chance of maybe making it to the Elite Eight / Final Four. But I don't know. I really want to see how they look. The 16 seed's not going to be a good reference, but if you see some other guys step up at least in that game and they look ready, then they could take down LSU. But that's one of my bigger upsets that I have on a lot of my brackets is Michigan going down to LSU in the second round.
No, I got Michigan going pretty far in the tournament. Um, I got them set up all the way to the Final Four. They only lose to Kansas for the champ, and which Kansas goes to the championship. But I got a lot of faith in Juwan Howard. I was advocating for him to be the next head coach of the Bulls. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? That didn't work out that way. We got Donovan. Donovan's doing a good job for what he got. So, you know what I'm saying? No complaints there as of yet. But now Juwan Howard's getting more buzz and more, I guess, recognition because now a lot of NBA teams are now considering him to be a head coach. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there's some. I want to see how Cade Cunningham plays in this tournament.
Kate
Um,
Cunningham.
you know what I'm saying? I want to see. So the way my deciding factor if you have it or you don't have it is how you do in big games. You know what I'm saying? Pressure situation and March Madness, you know what I'm saying, gives you that situation because it's either you win or go home.
Well,
Eh,
I think he's going to get his chance because I have Oklahoma State and Illinois playing each other in almost all my tourney in the Sweet 16. First 2 games, I think he'll look good. They they have to take down a 5 seed to get to them. I don't think they'll have any issues with that. I don't think they'll have any issues with their first round game either. Big game will be against Illinois, and he'll be on prime time. Everybody's going to want to watch that game. Illinois, one of the big favorites. Here in Chicago, everybody's turned into an Illinois fan.
Yep.
Illinois is my second favorite team in the Big Ten, so I do root for them as long as they're not playing Michigan. I do like their team a lot. In majority of my brackets, my Final Four is Gonzaga, Illinois, Texas, and let me check real quick. I always forget one bracket.
Yeah.
Because I do so many, but my main ones that I would say my money bracket, my dream bracket would be North Carolina coming out and winning their thing, but I don't like their chances in the South. I think
I got North Carolina losing the.
I got Ohio State on most of them. So Ohio State. So I got 3 Big Ten teams pretty much. 2 Big Ten teams. I'm sorry. Ohio State, Illinois, Gonzaga, and I like Texas actually as my 1 seed. That's not a 1 or a 2 to make it.
Okay, I actually had Gonzaga losing, and you won't believe I had them losing too.
It's not Illinois.
No, to Virginia.
You got Virginia making it.
Yeah.
Ooh, man, that's funny. Virginia, to me, they're on upset city when they play tomorrow because they haven't been able to practice all week because of COVID restrictions. So they've only been able to talk over Zoom talks. They just flew into, I think they're playing in Indy. So they just flew in today, and they're going to be able to practice for the first time today. And then they have to play immediately tomorrow. And they haven't played in a while because they got canceled in the NCAA or the ACC tournament right before this one. So I actually have them losing to Ohio, and I think everybody's going to get a nice present when they see that point guard from Ohio. I think that dude is going to put on a show on their first game, and they might even have a chance to win the second game because I actually don't think I think it's Creighton is the 5 seed.
Oh, I got Creighton losing in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. So I actually think Ohio could make a run here to the Sweet 16, and I think the point guard from Ohio is really going to help his draft stock, and I think he's going to show out. He's a guy that can kind of do it all, and he plays mad defense. Otherwise, I probably would have taken Virginia because they do have that slowdown game, and I do agree with you. If they can make it to play Gonzaga, that is one of the teams that nobody wants to see just because of the style play that Virginia has when they're on. But the COVID thing, I think, messed them up. We'll have to see. It's always an unknown when that happens. I worry about Kansas for the same reasons. Kansas has a lot of talent, but they've had this restriction as bad as on Virginia because I think it was only one guy that got it on Kansas where it was more than one for Virginia. But I actually have Kansas on majority of my brackets, and if you had to ask me my money bracket, I have USC beating them because I just think USC is going to be ready, and I like their one player, their freshman, I think, on their team. I think is going to be too much for Kansas.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy. Well, I got Kansas. Well, Illinois. Let's go back. Illinois haven't been this hyped or this loved around Chicago or in college talk since the D. Williams, Luther Head, D. Brown.
Oh,
Brian,
man, that team was fun.
Right, and the coach was Bill Self, right?
No. Bill Self got that team set up, but Bruce Weber had just taken over for him. So it was all Bill Self recruits, if you want to say that. It was right before he went to Kansas.
Right.
And yeah, Bruce Weber got a nice gift. And that team was fun, but the thing that they lacked, and UNC showed out in the championship game, was they did not have no big guys. And UNC could run with them. UNC was fast at that time, and they had guards that could play with their guards. And, a jump shooting team,
Yeah, you
They
live and die
started.
by the three.
Yep, they just started missing in that championship game. It was still an amazing run. You haven't seen this much excitement around this time for Illinois. And then the next time you would see it was when Loyola made it, to the final.
Right.
Was it the Final Four? I think they made it to.
Yeah.
When they
They
made
went
it.
far, yep, with Sister Jean and
And
her
it was
prayers.
it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yep.
That was a crazy run too. And Sister Jean, actually, bless her heart, she's still alive and everything, man. She's still kicking. I think she's like 102 now. She is going to be at the game today, and I do like Loyola's chances a lot. Georgia Tech lost their player of the year to COVID. He's not going to be there. So I don't like Georgia Tech's chances. I was picking Loyola anyways, but it kind of sucks. The NCAA set it up. Loyola's the 8-9 game, and if they win, they have to play Illinois. So one of the teams from Illinois is getting knocked out immediately.
Yeah, they hate it. They hate us. But
I'll say I like Illinois a lot. I think they're one of the few teams that has a chance to beat Gonzaga. I don't have them beating Gonzaga, but I have them playing Gonzaga in the championship on almost all my money brackets, all my brackets of actual thing that I care about. I took some free ones, obviously, where I have like UNC winning and Michigan because they're two of my teams I like. But money bracket, I have Gonzaga, Illinois as my final. I think they're the two best teams coming in. I think they have the deepest rosters. I think they're playing the best. They haven't really been affected by COVID or anything. And Illinois getting Usama back, man, that guy is a stud. His draft stock is shooting up too. Pretty much almost everybody on Illinois' draft stock is shooting up. And I think the bigger tourney they have, the better for those kids. Yeah. And even if some of them decide to stay, I think Illinois could make another run next year if they come back.
I actually see Illinois, the way the team is set up now. They remind me a lot of that Florida team under Donovan that won back-to-back championship.
If a good chunk of them come back, I think they have a really good chance next year of whatever they do this year. I think they could be even better or just as good next year. If they win it all, I think they could come back to back. They make it to the Final Four. I think they're Final Four favorite. If a good chunk of them come back, we'll have to see. It's always interesting to figure out. I think guys like Cade Cunningham, you're going to be a top 3 pick. I think you're gone. So no matter what Oklahoma State does, just icing on the cake for him to get to show off for everybody that hasn't seen him. But then there's other guys that, Illinois to me seems like it could be a team that does have some players come back and actually did turn down going to the NBA draft. Now, if Usama shows out like he did in the Big Ten tournament and towards the end of the season and his draft stock starts rising where he's a top 10 pick, I can't blame any kid for wanting to leave and go be a top 10 pick in the NBA, not risk getting injured. Right. So,
or losing out money because of COVID.
Right. It'd be nice if they come back. I always think it's better to come back, especially if you're like a freshman or a sophomore. If you're a junior, you've had their 3 years. I'm always like junior or older. I think if you get high thing, go. Sophomore, you want to come back. You like school. You want to set your thing in stone at that university, do that. But it's awesome that March Madness is back, man. This is my favorite time of the year. You got everything going on. You got March Madness. We got NBA back. We got NFL free agency happening, draft talk. Yeah, I know. Whatever. We're Bears fans, but still.
I'm a Chicago Cardinals fan for the record.
Right. Whatever. and we got hockey going on right now. Hawks aren't looking great, but still, you got all these sports all happening at the same time. It's a great time if you're a sports fan. And then not to mention, just overall, what's going on in the world right now. Everybody's getting their stimulus checks. Places are starting to open up a little bit more. The weather's getting a little bit nicer. All these things start to accumulate at this time of the year. This always is my favorite.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a good time of the year because the winter is starting to leave Chicago, the Chicagoland area. But where I've been at, it's been 90 degrees the last few months. So, so I'm not looking forward to 100 degrees and humidity.
The funny thing is we had some crazy nice weather. It had been in the 70s, and then just a week ago, drops back down to the 30s and we had a big snowstorm on one of the days. Now it's like it's sunny out today. It's a little cold. It's like in the 30 and 40s, which isn't super cold for us. But at the same time, everybody was like, oh, yeah. And then it's like they always seem to forget. It's not completely gone yet, guys. We're not there yet. But it's nice, man. I love this time of the year. I can't wait for this tourney to start. It's been a weird year. It's probably going to be a weird tourney. There probably is going to be some COVID stuff that comes up, but just be happy that it's here. Enjoy the madness. Yeah. Should be fun, have fun with your coworkers, your friends, or anybody that you did pools with. If you go and watch games, do it safely, wear your mask, all that kind of stuff. But this is just awesome. It's sports heaven right now when this stuff is going on.
Yep. Also, COVID took away 2 teams to be in the tournament. One of them is Duke, so it's very rare not to see Duke in the tournament.
I don't think they were going to make it anyways, but sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's they would have it's Duke. They would have did something to make sure Duke made the tournament.
They had to, so
they didn't have to do nothing. They're Duke.
They had to win. They had to win the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
And then, I just don't think they would have. Would they? Had they looked good their first 2 games, going into that game when they would have had to play, who were they going to have to play? Florida State, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They had a chance to beat Florida State, but they have been so inconsistent, just like Michigan State in that game yesterday. At times, it's like, damn, that's Michigan State. And at times, that's Duke. That's Duke and Mike Krzyzewski. Right. But for majority of that season, no, they never got it together. And it happened to some other teams. Kentucky, you're probably going to bring up.
No, I'm not going to bring up Kentucky.
Well, but Kentucky's a team that had not missed a tourney in forever. Right. But they were bad too. They were 9-14. And even Calipari admits it. Like, he did a terrible job, and the team just never came together.
Yeah, so, but they were not kicked out because of COVID. The other team that was kicked out because of COVID was NCAA. You know what I'm saying? And they were basically a shoe, and they're a HBCU school. They were basically it was all but said that they were gonna make the tournament, and they
now all but said they were gonna make the tournament. Like, they had to win their tournament championship, because I know they still don't like even those teams like Winthrop. Yeah. Winthrop, they're 23-1, but if they wouldn't have won their tournament, I don't know if they would have put them in. I actually have Winthrop as one of my 5-12 specials, because I don't like Villanova this year because of the injuries. Villanova lost their 2 best players, and they lost their last 2 games, might even been 3 of the season. And coming in, Winthrop is 23-1, man. That is like a real deal, just all around good team. I have them beating Villanova, and I even have them on a lot of my brackets making it to the Sweet 16.
Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Also, do you have a pick or it's probably the guy from Ohio, an unknown player that nobody knows about that's going to shine out in this tournament and make a name for themselves?
Yeah, well, that guy, that point guard from Ohio, I think is going to be the player to watch, because like I said, I think Creighton has a very good chance of losing, and then that gives Ohio another chance where they get to play a lower seed than them even, and I think they have a chance to make it a Sweet 16, and I think it's going to mainly be because of the point guard from Ohio. So he would be my big choice. If UNC is going to make a run, just talking as a UNC fan, I think it's got to be our big freshman coming off the bench, our big man. And if he can do something against Baylor, since we have a lot of good talented big men, we got Garrison Brooks and we got Baycott as a starter, but that freshman that comes off the bench, if he can play up to his ability and his talent, they might have a chance of upsetting Baylor. And actually, that kid will be the reason. And I think he might actually open up his draft thing a little bit if they end up beating Baylor. I think it's going to be because of him. And because just throwing the big bodies, you got your 2 starters, but when he comes off, it's just like it's a totally different dude. And he has shown glimpses in times. He had a huge game against Duke, and I just would love to see him, as a UNC fan, take down Baylor. Might mean that we don't get to see him as much as we would like in North Carolina, because next year he's set up to be the starter for sure with Baycott. But if they can beat Baylor, his draft stock might hop up some too.
Right. My surprise pick is I got Georgetown at least making it to the Sweet 16. You know what I'm saying? Because Patrick Ewing, he did his thing in the Big East tournament.
Did he do his thing in the Big East tournament, or was it just because they were playing in the Garden and he was pissed?
Whatever you want to call it, but he was definitely motivated, and those boys were balling.
They're not gonna be in the Garden anymore.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter, and they still got Blair. Watch out for Blair, the guard from Georgetown. Look out for him.
So it's not a big guy from Georgetown; it's a guard, actually.
Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy you need to look at. You know the big man. Georgetown has a history of big man. They got Patrick Ewing as a head coach, so you know the bigs are gonna do what they need to do. But the X factor is going to be Blair. So if he could score efficiently and set everyone up like he normally does, they're gonna bust a lot of people's brackets.
Also, I mean, it's not like we have to say it, but if you haven't seen Cade Cunningham, watch Oklahoma State. Dude's gonna be top 3 pick. He can do everything. He's fantastic.
The talent's there, but I want to see if he has the it factor. And this tournament will determine that for me, because he could be like, Dwayne Wade, Steph Curry, saying the talent was there. They came in the tournament, they showed out, or he could be a bust like Trae Young.
Oh, it's hard to say bust or not. I mean, Trae Young does put up numbers. Yes, he hasn't gotten the wins yet. I agree. Although Atlanta is streaking now that they fired their coach. So
yeah, that's true.
So Trae Young might be finally getting into the playoffs just to shut you up.
We'll see.
But yeah, if you haven't seen Cade Cunningham, he's fantastic. All the guys on Illinois, if you haven't got to watch them, if you haven't taken them seriously yet, really good team. Great big guy, Kofi Cockburn. Great guy, Nusama. Same thing with Gonzaga. They're on the West Coast. They are undefeated. They're only undefeated team here, and I do have them as being the first team to go all the way through the tournament and undefeated since Indiana did it with Bobby Knight back in the 80s.
Whoa.
So that's my pick on almost all my money brackets. There's nobody I think that can beat them. Illinois would be close because I have them playing Illinois in majority of my money brackets and my brackets of confidence. But I think their team is too good. I think they're gonna hit this ground running. I also think their bracket, their one that they got, very easy. So I don't like anybody having any chance in their side of the bracket to knock them out. Now they get to the Final Four. They might have to play either like a Texas, Alabama, Michigan if they make it. I think they can take out any of those 3. And then they have to go the other side. It's going to be Illinois or Baylor as the 1 seeds. You got some Oklahoma State maybe on a couple of them if they can make it that far. So Illinois, I think, has the best chance because I like their team overall and the confidence that they're playing with, but I just don't think anybody's taking down the Zags this year. They're going to go undefeated.
I got Illinois winning it all, and it's nice. Illinois, not Illinois. The S is silent. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can say Illinois if you want. You're wrong, but you can say it.
Yep. But on that, we're out.